Hi, and welcome to another episode of Tea Time with Greg. On my left, I have Alex McDonald. Hey, Alex, how are you?
Hi, Greg. How are you?
Thanks for joining me on Tea Time today.
Thanks for
So,
asking.
Alex, you were the CEO of Lime, and are the former chairman of the Barbados Private Sector Association. What else can I add to that list?
Father,
Father,
husband,
husband,
son,
son,
brother,
uncle.
uncle, cousin,
Okay, and the list goes on.
and the list goes on. Yes,
And then you said something about you're a small businessman.
that's what we all are, aren't we?
In some form,
Small businessmen trying to make a dollar. Honestly,
and with no longer fatted calves.
the calf was never really fat. That's the problem. The calf was never really fat. Calf used to have a glossy
So,
coat and fit, but never fat.
and 1 second, because we are always live, Damar is eating, right?
Yeah, I'm watching it now.
Okay. I'm trying to figure where I can see it. Thank you. That's the beautiful thing about live
Yeah,
television.
if you look at that, you go and look at mine too.
Yeah. You'll be able to share it
Just get
shortly.
their own devices.
But yeah, so the Barbados economy, you as a business person, how are you surviving right now? I'm going somewhere with that.
Right. I kind of always try and split it out. How am I doing versus how is the economy doing?
Mhm.
I'm doing all right. I think for a lot of people in my place, we have absorbed a lot of the latest round of taxation, which is the NSRL and the 2% and so on. The market is very inflexible for price. In other words, you can't charge more than the market can actually bear. So what that has meant is that people have either had to pare down on what they're ordering, therefore what they're offering, or they've had to absorb a lot of the costs that have gone into it. So you're less profitable. The Talking to just a few of my business colleagues and friends and so on who are in business, it means that the plans to retool plans or to reinvest in different things have had to be put on the shelf for a while. Um, but the economy continues to slip. So we all kind of wonder,
What is next? What
no,
can
what you're sacrificing and swallowing, but what are you gonna what? How much more will you have to do to get the gain that you want? You know, I think that's a big question for most of us. Is you're taking the pain, but where's the gain?
through all the sacrifice?
Correct. You know, so you've definitely had a cut in your standard of living. You know, your
That's
colleagues.
not a cut, Alex. That's that's a cut. Let's chop.
It's still a cut. You know, whatever you say, you know that we
a very
hear
blunt cut.
the man was wounded. What did they tell you? They take off the arm and the leg, but he was wounded. You know, no, when you're fatally wounded, then you know it was a serious one. But you know, so we kind of all wonder when are we going to see the upside, and we know just kind of understanding how the world is turning. The upside is still a little way away.
Mhm.
You know, so there's a lot of talk. Well, how much longer can you keep on absorbing before you react? I heard Dean Straker, who's the president of the Small Business Association, say there's going to be January's going to be the month of cut job losses. I haven't seen it. I think most of my friends, most of my colleagues, most people who are in the business are in business are trying their hardest not to go there. I think we have a very wonderfully tuned sense of social obligation. So we try not to cut staff because we understand the implications, especially small business people,
But
staff with
with,
their
with
family.
with the economy like this, I
Mhm.
mean, for which is bad for many reasons.
Mhm.
Overtaxation and everything else, the people are not spending. So how can a business survive? I mean, no international businesses are looking to invest in Barbados at this current point. So that's also another problem. How can a small business survive right now?
You've got to cut spending. So the number one, there are two ways you can do it. Um, you've either got to drive sales. So what I think a lot of people are doing. Um, so let me give you the classical answer, and let me tell you what's actually happening on the ground. In a very challenging economy, businesses will fail.
Hmm.
And what it means is that the strongest ones survive and thrive.
Which is
What?
which is sad, but
Correct.
but,
So
but it is what it is.
so the herd will thin out. The herd will thin out, and the strongest ones will go forward. And with the herd being full of strong business and so on, what's going to happen is your economy overall over time will become stronger. It also means that there's going to be a lot of casualties on the way. Um, the other way you do it is you cut your costs. So you try and match your revenue intake with the cost that you're spending. Typically, that means a lot of things like, unfortunately, marketing and training and reinvestment in the business are the things that go. And then ultimately, when those are exhausted, then you go to staff count, the people that you're hiring, and you're going to go to there. So what's happening here is that people are living on, or businesses are living on their credit cards, on their overdrafts.
But then with the percentage on spending,
It becomes
somehow
worse. It becomes worse. So you're actually becoming the agent of your own demise. So imagine that you are not facing the difficult things you have to do, and hoping that things are going to become better, hoping that there's going to be a miracle. And in some ways, it mirrors what we've been doing as a country, in that we're not taking hard choices and doing what we have to
making
do,
this sacrifice
and making this sacrifice. So what we are, as business people, doing are not introducing a political element, because the economy is a twofold one: is the hard nose, dollars and cents, and then there's a political reality, which is, the political leaders think, well, is this going to get me elected or not? Businessmen don't have that consideration. What they have is a social pressure. How is my company going to look if we send home people? They're my family. They're all of the, I've gotten to know them over time, and da 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 da. But the fact is as a country, a political, social, and economic country, we don't like to face the hard choices we have to make. And
like when Owen said that
us.
people have to go home, the opposition at that time said, "We not gonna send you home." I mean, no one wants to be the sacrificial in that situation. No one would.
The contrary is true. They had promised duty free cars and this lavish spending. I think too that we had signals. To me, when we spoke about planting your own food in your own garden, and people derided the political leadership at the time and saying, "Good Lord, that's so backward." No,
but it is almost necessary at this point.
But had we taken the challenge on seriously, not as a buy Bajan thing because of Bajan pride, but because it was necessary. Because the more that we eat our own, the more that we grow what we eat, the more that we tailor our taste towards ourselves. We're supporting local farmers and all of that, yes, but we're also trying to chop the foreign exchange leaving the country. That should not have been pitched as a matter of Bajan pride. It should be pitched as a matter of necessity. On wartime footing, you got to fight the war. So one of the things you got to do is to try and get the spending in the foreign exchange out. And that was something that we could have done much more seriously, and support local foods and products much better. And that's not at the hotel level. Those are some of the consumers, yes. But if everybody substituted stuff that we can grow with what we can buy, then it surely would have been a longer way, and probably a healthier way forward.
The NSRL.
Yes.
I personally think it is not. This is daytime TV tea time with Greg.
Daytime tea time, yeah.
Yeah, daytime tea time. So I'm gonna reserve that comment. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's a sensible tax, but it is another tax at the end of the day. I just think that, so I owe you these cookies. The cookies are in this hand. So I take the cookies from you, but I give you with this hand. You think that these are fresh pack of cookies. At the end of the day, I got money from you. I just tap you and I'm giving you back your same money that I just taxed you
No, no,
with.
no, that's not what you're doing. You're doing something different.
Okay, but explain to me. That's how I see it. And if I see
No,
it
because
wrong,
I'm not getting back these cookies at all.
oh babe.
So you added a level that like seeming to get back the cookies. I'm not. So the NSRL effectively was supposed to dampen demand, dampen spending.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do an NSRL tax, but you still keep on printing money, you are not going to have the effect that you want. So if I have money in my hand, every month you're giving me money to spend, I'm going to find a way to actually spend it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm going to do. With the NSRL, I'm just going to dampen that spending a bit. If you had taken the money out of my hand and said, look, we can't afford to keep on paying you, then that'd be a totally different conversation. If I know that this money is not coming at all, then my spending habits become very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to that, I may say, well, I cannot buy 2 cups of tea, I can buy a cup and a half. Or I may buy every other day. But I'm still spending. With the effect of the NSRL, along with the printing, along with some of the decisions taken, has created an economy where you have a technical, you call it a quasi devaluation. In other words, the value of what you can buy, your dollar is still pegged, but the value of what you can buy has become less and less and less. So it's less by 2%, which is the foreign exchange tax, is less by 10%, which is the NSRL. So that if you wanted to buy a car, you're going to pay 30% more in taxation than the value of the car itself. So if you bought the car in March before and bought the car in April, is for no value you're getting you have to pay more. But I sincerely wonder how effective the NSRL has been in dampening demand, really. Because our demand and the thing is, the truth is, the problem is not a local problem. The problem is a problem of our foreign exchange. So you're dampening local demand, but our foreign exchange is still dropping down. Up to September of last year, we had about eight weeks of cover.
How many weeks we have now?
I don't know, but the central bank will release it. I'm hoping that we've had a wonderful winter season and has gone up. But I would say
only time can tell.
Only time will tell, and only the central bank governor and the minister of finance knows what the actual state is. However, we have big payments to make soon. If you have 200 or how much of $100 million in the bank, and you are approaching payment time, that's where the real issue is. The real issue is not if we, buy cars, because those are small amounts. It's the payments, the debt payment that is the killer. The US dollar debt payment. If we don't have that money, then that is now a real devaluation. Not a devaluation that we feel in our pocket, like how we feel in the NSR. This is where the island-wide devaluation, where we are gone down. Because once you tell Credit Suisse or anybody, sorry, I can't pay you, that's where the problem becomes. That's where you have a problem. So careful management of that is the requisite thing. And I'm not sure the NSRL
was the solution.
Specifically dealt with that issue.
International business. How important is that for us right now?
International business is challenged. It's challenged because of the international reality. The international reality is that with the rise of a Trump and a Trudeau, very different points of view. Trump is America first, and Trudeau in Canada is the capitalist must pay what is due in Canada. The basis of our offshore sector, what we used to call offshore sector, or
Non-existent one, no?
was that it would we have a double taxation treaty, and you do your business here, you pay a lower rate of tax here, and you repatriate those funds. The Canadians are blocking those holes and saying, no, 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 you can't get away with that. Trump's America First is saying we're going to bring all that stuff back to America. Different political points of view, but the effect is the same. The blacklisting that we just had by the EU, which I assume will go away, but it was unnecessary, I think, for us to be in that place where we're on that list. It's caused too much stress, and I am sure that the government is working hard to remove or to reverse
people
that.
think that they are.
Well, that's what the minister says, and I have no doubt that he is doing that. My only question is, how did we get there in the first place? To be our advocacy at the level of the EU should have been, I think, ought to have been stronger to avoid us moving to that place. Now, to be quite honest, there's geopolitics at play. There may be in a position where anything we would have done would not have worked, and they still want to put us on a blacklist. But from what I understand, it was a change in our laws, a change in some of the wording that we needed to guarantee that we would do.
Okay.
I think that we've made those guarantees, and now they're saying, fine, we'll move. I only question, if we had made those guarantees prior to the listing coming out, would we have been on that list?
Oh, valid. Actually, that's a valid point. I didn't see the comment before. Someone said yes. Sometimes I watch Peter Wickham. I had to see because I saw something there just now. But Shelley last week said that we are overtaxed right now, and if they reduce the taxes in any form, that would eventually help people to start back spending and bring back some level of confidence within the country. How true that? But that's an over time period. That's not an effective tomorrow situation. You want to find some way to get money to pay your bills, but over time it will be better for the economy down the line. How true is that? If we actually start to find a way to reduce some of these taxes on the island itself.
Well, but the thing is, the truth is that every taxation is too much. And that is a fact of life, except that a government has to run the affairs of state. So one of the first things of a government is to keep its citizens safe. So we all agree that we should put collectively a little
police-wise,
economy-wise, money
financial
together to keep us safe. Okay, so the government says, okay. The second part of government is to keep people healthy. We say we all agree that we can put a little money aside, keep us healthy. Third part, or third arm, is education. We need to grow our people. And that's how taxation grows. Now, to get into, and this is where the philosophical differences come up, but what should the role of government be, and how much in your home and your business and so on, how much should the arm of government be in your home or in your business? Should government be able to tell you, well, I'm going to tax if you want to drink drinks, or I'm going to tax if you want to smoke, or I'm going to tax you. And some people argue very much so that, in order to shape a better and healthier place, we're going to have a punitive tax on alcohol, tobacco, and so on. Some people argue, absolutely not. That's none of your business. If I want to kill myself by smoking and drinking, that's up to you. Philosophically, I see both sides. But what I can say is that the more you tax, the faster you drive people to avoid taxation. Once you tax to avoid taxation, you create criminals. Not people who murder and stab, but according to the law, you've avoided taxation and you should pay the full weight of that. One, and then what happens is that people then start to, if they do pay, they have less to actually spend on purchasing and so on. So the circular economy doesn't circulate as quickly as it ought to do. Trickle down is where Reagan carried it, and this is what Trump is saying. Trump is saying, if I cut all the taxes out and give people more money to spend, they will spend more. The argument is that the rich don't. The rich just put the money away and go to Monaco and go along with it. I believe that we have to have a better way of doing it. I believe that consumption-based taxes are better, and this is why VAT is a much better tax than most others, because you consume, pay. I believe that that the least impact the government can have to get the biggest gain should be the way we go forward. Right now, our government is taxing to pay wages, not taxing to give services. So that's a big issue. If you're saying,
and that's kind of what I was trying to explain with the whole cookie thing.
Right.
So you're taxing the entire country to pay something else, and it's coming from the same person that you just taxed. That's how I see it.
Correct. Okay, well, so if you tax, if I work in the public service and you tax me, you give me back a job. The argument, and this is where you have to have a certain amount of confidence and chutzpah to say, if I let go people in the public service, I am confident that by all the things I'm doing to stimulate the economy, they're going to find jobs in the private sector. The private sector is going to be needing so many people that they'll be taking them up. So the highway project is a great idea in the sense that it's private sector driven, which government used to do. Still finding work for people to do it, but government doesn't pay them anymore. A private sector company pays them. The better thing to have done, my humble opinion, would be to go to those people and say, will you all form little companies, little landscaping companies, little maintenance companies, and go into the communities and do this work. And by the way, that mile of road, we will pay you $5,000 a month, but every time you pass by that mile of road, better look.
A certain way.
So I'm paying you, it must be mowed four times a month, it must look good, no litter, so and so. If the inspectors that are the government inspectors now come and pass and see it's nothing, they send you a little note, the merit, see it three times, you don't get paid that month. That will empower a lot of people in communities who live in and around those areas to really come out and work with it. That to me is the way I would like to see our economy being built from the bottom up, where you're pushing the opportunity to the small man and then letting him build. Some of those people are going to fall out because no matter what you give them, if a man wins $1 million in 4 years' time, he can go back to exactly where he was. He can lick it all out. Other people now will take that $1 million and then create an empire. So to me, that is where I would have liked to have seen it. And there's a lot of space for government to take its arms off of things, empower the people that work there, give them a guarantee for 3 or so years that they're going to pay them a certain amount. But after that, they go. They go on their own. And that way we create a set of people. We create a leaner government that's tasked towards doing what we ask it to. And we have people who are small business people in the true sense. They really are small, but they're paying for them for themselves. They have the opportunity to branch out and grow. Some may fail.
As a business person, I hope I don't go wrong direction, something you can't answer, but bear with me.
I can't answer. Once you give me that, I cannot answer. I plead whatever amendment we have. No, we don't have that here, but whatever amendment we got here or whatever law, I plead it right now. Put my biscuits on the table.
The South Coast.
Oh. I was about to say, oh,
shenanigans.
Oh, shenanigans.
I have lots of friends and I know lots of people who really do not want to buy anything to consume or eat from the South Coast anymore. And it's not because that those places are nasty in per se, but it is just the mental thought of what is going on with the South Coast. Do you agree that most of those businesses should shut down on the South Coast or do what they have to do to make it absolutely sanitary for their customers?
So when I was at Commerce School,
oh dear God, not you two.
Lives are in the making, right? I was a scout. If I could eat scout food, I could eat most of anything. So that's the first
And I know
rule.
you get it because I wasn't a scout, so my belly is clearly not made of titanium or adamantium.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. In the first thing, young people should go into scouts and eat all kind of boiled corned beef and chow mein in the same pot that you have
Ah.
everything. Everything goes
Oh
into
dear
a pot.
God.
So I make that comment only to add a little humor to this story.
Yeah.
It's not funny.
Mhm.
The situation in the South Coast is not funny. And the victims are not the people per se who are choosing not to eat in the places. The victims of the South Coast are the business owners who have invested thousands and millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars in their businesses that people are now scared to eat at. Now, I don't know if you know, and I suspect everybody in Barbados knows, this period from November to April is when you make your money.
Yep.
If
I have
you're a
a tourist
restaurant,
background, so
correct. If
I
you're a
know.
restaurant, a hotel, a boutique, anything that depends on the tourists coming, this is when you want to have
Service
everything
oriented.
on point. It got to be everything. Everything could pop down in April, in May, June, and July.
July.
No, June and then July, August. You
crop
squeeze up
over,
again,
leaf for crop
and
over.
everything could pop the hell down in
September.
September. Don't care now about that, and we go along. But you cannot have a situation where the people, and I feel for the people who live there on the coast, because they're inconvenienced, the smells, the
every day.
sewage, and so on, and they may get sick.
But a lot of them are
But the
getting
problem
sick.
is going to be fixed, one way or the other. Whichever government comes in, this government says 3 months, the opposition says they're going to fix it, priority number one. If you have a house there, your house value is not going to fall tremendously,
Mhm.
but your business may close the hell down because you have not made enough money in the 3 months. So in other words, you're going to have a very, very lean November, December, January, February, March, April. The entire tourist season of this time. And all of those businesses are marginal. They depend on that.
With the gas station in particular, that gas station has been closed for like 4 months, 3-4 months, and then checking about how do they get reimbursed? How is it possible? I mean, it is one of those situations that they just lost. And
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I mean, obviously they're going to be talking to their lawyers about, do I get compensation? Clearly, I've been paying taxes at this level for the past how many of the years. This year, look at the drop off. I need compensation. Who knows? But the fact is that they are the real victims because they've invested in a business that people are now scared to eat at. And a customer loss is a customer loss. That person is going to come back and say, well, I'm going to fly back to BIM for your food tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or in 4 months' time. If you're gone, you're gone. And that to me is where we have not been sensitive enough to the real plight. It is impossible for me to understand how you could have seen sewage bubbling through a manhole for months, and you just say, well, it's important, it's urgent, it's this, it's that, and you didn't put the fix that you could have fixed. You didn't call for help immediately. You didn't humble yourself and say, look, we gotta get some help in immediately, and do all of the things that you needed to have done. To me, if you were running it as a business and shareholder value was going away,
you would then.
well, you would have moved heaven and earth because that is the only thing you have. You know, so that to me was very, very painful. I feel sorry for the people who have their homes there. I do.
And they've been campaigning for the last 2 years.
But those persons will bounce back. Their homes will be clean, and in 3 months after the problem is fixed, they'll say, oh, remember the great sewage leak of 20 whenever. For somebody's business, that was the business that broke them. That's the business that they never their family never recovered from. People who took $1 million, borrowed from the bank, put in this infrastructure, said, we have such a great location.
The bank still wants their payment every month.
We have such a great location. It's going to be doing really well because we're offering this wonderful service. And then you have a period where you're going to make your first set of money. You set up You know, you say, okay, we're gonna open the business in August. We have a little burning in period, and then we're gonna hit the tourist season real hard. We're gonna really make back our money. It done. So you now have a family scene where the bank is asking for its money back. You still have your bills to pay. That family fails. And who compensates them for that?
But that,
Because they
I,
didn't do
that,
nothing wrong.
but exactly, that's my point. I see all these businesses, and from a hotel background, it is not the most, it's not the nicest situation to have to deal with down there from a hygiene point of view in terms of the food. I wouldn't want anybody to have to close down, but it is the reality. So many people are afraid, so there are many victims.
But only one person can make you close, and that is the Ministry of Health. There's only one person that can make you close. Lack of customers may force you to close.
Okay.
But only one person who could say this is not safe, it's not clean, it's not healthy, it's not hygienic, you must close the Ministry of Health. And so far, the Ministry has not forced people to close. But people are voting with their feet. They're not going to the usual haunts. There's a coffee shop I used to go to. I don't go to now because the smell is horrendous. And if you're having your nice penne pasta with a little thing, you ain't eating it because I know for a fact that the feces is not in my food. But the smell, I feel like if, oh Jesus,
exactly.
Well, I
get over by Lucky Horseshoe to have a drink, and who I went with, they said we went inside because they could smell from outside over at Chicken Barn, and we went inside. It was fine, but my stomach was already turned at that point. So they said, "You want some fish cakes?" It was like
fish cakes, oil,
fish cakes. Seriously, at this point, nah, I good.
Yeah, but I mean, I think too that we look at it and we realize that we've done some nonsense too. In terms of what we put down the thing, but I find.
But I heard some horrendous stories of things that were being flushed.
Yeah, but to be quite honest, I must tell you, the problem has been 2 years of Bajans. Our tourists have been flushing all kind of nonsense for 25 years. If they knew, or if you know, that this is posing a strain and a stress on the infrastructure of the water authority and sewage plants, where was the campaign 15 years ago that spoke to what you should and shouldn't flush? You go to Hong Kong or Singapore, all over the world, they tell you post, do not flush anything else but toilet paper. As a matter of fact, they tell you do not flush toilet paper. Put it in the bin. It's everybody knows that when you go there and you wipe, you put it in the bin at the side. You don't flush them.
Have them.
All right. So you know how
up in Singapore.
Bathrooms smell like real bathrooms. but there is a education campaign.
Regardless, at the end
regardless of the day. About what to do. Now, most people ought to know that a towel cannot be what you flush down.
I heard swimsuits, the bathing suit bottoms, and underwears and stuff have been.
And I don't think that people flush them down at the toilet. I think that what happens is somehow them is get flushed down there on the back of the toilet bowl. The person flush, hand brush it, it sucks down into it. I think that's what happens. But to be honest, it is not the people come here and say, oh, the thing to do in Barbados is to flush your toilet, to flush your bathing suit. It's the thing that you do. So I don't know if it's widespread, bathing suit bottoms and towels. And I don't think they're towels. I think they're more wash rags. You know, you can't flush. I don't see how a bath towel can flush. You can't.
Yeah.
I mean, you do a good dumping, you can't flush. You gotta flush it all the time. So I am just saying.
Tea time, people. Tea time.
There you
Educational.
go. I am just saying that if we know it's stressing the sewage system out, and they see this disproportionate amount of things, you gotta tell people, baby pampers are not to be flushed. Baby pamper, when it hits the water, it swells up.
You go into the airplane, the first thing, this is for this, this is for this, this is for your tissue, this is not to go down.
I think, Greg, to be quite honest, I think that it is embarrassing that we would have to do that. Like how we would have to put a message on public service messages, which we don't seem to have anymore. Do not leave your baby diaper on the beach. When your baby is, when you've changed your baby, don't leave the diaper on the beach, or don't throw it in the sea. Which is another thing that you will see. But Beijing seem to want to do that.
Oh,
But the leadership, private sector, government, other interest groups need to be expressing to people. These are the things that we see. So every year we go and clean up the beaches. And when I say we, I mean me. Go and take my good gloves and my things and we collect all manner of nastiness that people feel, yeah, let me just leave it on
yeah,
the
and then
beach.
somebody can move
And
it.
it's not that it's washed up. It's not like somebody dumped it on a boat. These are things that are so far in land that you know is a Bajan baby's bottom that did that, and they put the pamper right there. And the parent said, leave it there because the rangers gonna move it. And I asked somebody when I was addressing a young lady, she said, well, if I don't leave it there, nobody ain't got no work.
You know, that bugs me. It is like I see people throw things out of the window, the vans, while they throw the cup. Well, somebody can clean that up. Somebody can move that. It is almost like
We have a view that if, or some people have a view, if I stop littering, I can put
People out of work?
sanitation people out of work, because they ain't gonna got nothing to do. You ask people, they say, well, but that's very true. What are they gonna do then? We need to do better than that.
Who in the heck throws a diaper in the freaking ocean? Oh my god, whoever does that is just stupid. That is stupid, Alex. That's nasty. That's not stupid. That's just plain on nasty.
Because when it's throwing
But
in
it's
the
but
ocean,
it's
they don't see it anymore.
it's a reality. As long you physically, like I live a particular area, and to get to my house is a bunch of open land, cane fields, and
Oh, that's
desolate.
called a dump.
Trust me, they dump any dead animals, the
Fridges,
fridges,
stores,
sofas,
mattresses,
mattresses, anything that they can just drop there and roll. That's where it's going to be.
And I would also say, again, these are consequences. We have always been crazy. As a people, we've always been crazy. Gullies are to be dug and filled up. That's how our view it. And the more you can fill up with fridges and think we're doing a good job. You know, we like I feel like we think, yeah man, dump more stuff in the gully because we helping to fill in the land. Heal the land. I don't know where we get these crazy ideas from.
I never heard that one.
No, but obviously it has to be so because the amount of stuff that you find in gullies,
which is true,
is like if people feel it's their civic duty to dump it into the gully. But when you now have a tipping fee now that says, I have to now pay to go and dump my garbage into a tip, you're encouraging people to do nonsense. It should really be the other way. I am paying you. You have a thing here. Look, here's $20 for that, because we should have such a strong recycling program for a country that has to import everything. You see some sofas out on the side of the road that anywhere else, if it was in Cuba, then fellas would take it, make it into a first class sofa, sell it, and go along. We don't have a culture that says let's turn old things into new. Dump it is not working. So fans, I have outside my house. If I put a fan outside my house,
by morning it gone.
Morning, the fairies move that way in an hour. I've actually taken time the fairies move in an hour. I know I have fairies, but I know
King says good night. So yeah.
Good night.
And someone said, "Oh, that comes from mismanagement and bad decisions. There must be better accountability by ministries involved."
And more than that, there must be a little bit more vision. I give a pass up to a certain point, but you see, all in the era that we're living in now, where waste, recycling, the oceans, plastic are such big issues. I wonder what is our response from the government about recycling. I wonder how come it is we haven't approached Wednesdays is plastic, Thursdays paper. You know, I don't understand how. I go to Canada.
In my neighborhood, every Monday, anything that's recyclable from the plastics, the paper, the bottles, be put out in different spots in the neighborhood. A guy comes, he sorts out everything, and then he goes and carries it wherever. So our neighborhood is already proactive with that, and a few neighborhoods are becoming that way. So it limits the amount of garbage that we're actually putting out.
Absolutely, but how come that we can't make that a national initiative? How come that in like something that we do? We run this country like if we have 10 million human beings on 75 million square miles of land. Like it's hard. You know, like if people are in Jumbengwe land and rivers to cross and mountains and you know, we got 300,000 people on 166 square miles. This is a place that is a good town.
You got that right.
Municipality that we can collectively say, as of Wednesday, the 10th of September 2018, there shall be no more of this. You have 3 bins, and all garbage goes into those 3 bins. And by the way, if you want, the government will buy all the bins. Your first bin, compliments of the government.
There'll be no pilfering of people's.
Everybody
got a bin. You got one to start with.
And you can write your name as much as you want on it and so on. But if we find glass in the paper thing,
you get
we tack a little fine pan. Just put it in the bin, in the thing. And by the way, you be a little more creative with the law, and you say that bill comes up, that fine comes up on your land tax bill. So every year you will see all the foolishness you had done. And you can go and query that, and then we have a little process, and then you settle up and say, here's the bill for that. To my mind, we have to be, the energy to make a change has to be there. We can't continuously go about the place like if it's difficult. It's not difficult. This is people getting together and saying, bring in the environmental groups, bring in the private sector. For instance, why it is that we have garbage trucks and all kind of deliveries and so on going through town at 10 in the morning. In a better BIM, deliveries and pickups and so on would be made from 10 in the night to 4 in the morning. I'll plug up my roads with that.
I just basically agree with what you just said.
All garbage and so on collect in the night. I don't care if the garbage man rev at 3 in the morning. We wake up for 2 minutes and go back to sleep. Why are you doing it at 7? And the reason we do it at 7 is because we don't have enough trucks. It's a fundamental. We don't have enough trucks, so those guys have to now work, swing shifts and late shifts and all kind of nonsense.
Our garbage collection, they came like 8 o'clock at night already.
Okay.
No, I'm happy. I'm not just happy
Correct.
that they came, because it went from 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and then we got to fight the cats and everything else that they're ready to get the garbage and everything else. But I'm just glad they're coming a little more regular.
And you know the thing is, Greg, is that if you talk to people within government workers, people who are no on strike, these answers are there. They need just to translate their vision into policy. The fellas ain't dumb. So if 2 of us can sit down here in 2 minutes and come up with different policies. But yet it seems that from the civil service to law, there is a gap.
Is it a possibility that you don't want to take the advice from the smaller person? It has to come from you, or I'll take you, but it got to be my idea situation.
I don't know. I mean, I think at the end of the day, what we need is pace.
Someone said, Ryan asked, wouldn't that require us to go to a 24-hour business system? Society, not system.
But we've been talking about that for 7 years.
There's a gym that actually advertised here recently, and I'm impressed that they started. They said they're open 24 hours. There are times I might be a little narcissistic. That's fine. I have many other issues. I would let the train some nights if I get. I would let it go on train if I could.
But we have elements of it.
The gas station, the only thing that
our hotel plant doesn't close. Hotels don't close in BIM. People are working there. People are working all day, all night. Gas stations. If you go to the Esso down at the bottom of University Hill, I don't know if it's Esso still. It open all the time. You hungry anytime it open. We have elements. We have pockets of it. But for instance, should we be fixing roads in the day, or should we be fixing roads in the night? Given the opportunity, as a person who be fixing roads, I'd rather work in the night. It's cooler. It's less traffic leaking to hell down.
Exactly.
And so on. There are things that have to be done in the day because of the light. No matter of artificial light. It's
But
gonna help
then
you.
there's actually a bigger expense with generators and like
Maybe, but the expense of me sitting down for 25 minutes at 8 o'clock, waiting for the flag man, say, "Come, boss,
oh
next man."
next set
No,
of lunches
just add up that line of traffic,
traffic.
waiting that 2, 5, or 10 minutes for the flag man, and just say, what was the loss? What's the cost of
That
keeping
lot
that
air
there?
for any business person who's now late.
And it's not only the business person; it's the mother carrying their child to school, who has to now wait and she's now late. So the
Oh, yeah,
boss has to
that's
now talk to her about her
her
late
lateness,
record. So she
tardiness.
deal with a customer. The first thing she's thinking about is the boss. He's an idiot. So first customer get, hello, how are you? So nice have to step in. It is a concatenation of issues that if we don't fix small things, it affects everything
Domino
else.
effect.
And we don't seem to want to attack, for instance, weeding the side of the road. Weeding the side of the road has no material benefit except when you drive past a well-maintained verge, you feel better. You're going to work feeling better. You don't have to step into the road and get licked or thing. And you and the person don't curse. The person tell you, "Oh, this time into the road," and you then and then. So if the whole time you're angry, you're going to work angry, and small things create big things. Deal with small things, and those things already take a lot of money. Those things cost. You know what it costs you? It's cost the JS saying the government is going to be encouraging neighborhoods to go out on Arbor Day, either plant trees or to clean up around them. Our Arbor Day is not only about trees, it's about the environment. How about a national day where we get the scouts, the guides, the Rotary, the Lions, everybody,
Or even in your own neighborhood,
exactly
clean up your own neighborhood.
to do a neighborhood cleanup. We would send trucks and dump stuff, but you and everybody cleans up the neighborhood on that day. If I go and clean up my neighborhood, you think I let anybody litter in it? Why go and clean up that and you can come and do it? So it's all about restating some kind of pride in what we're doing. And to be quite honest, those are the things that the energizer community. Those are the things that make people say, "I'm proud. I'm proud to be here."
There's so much. Like honestly, for me, there's so many things about Barbados that I am frustrated with. As a business person, self-employed, I am tired trying to reinvent myself and find a way to make money. And my life hustle is on. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but what do you feel is next for us? I mean, beyond the government doing what they have to do, whether it's the B, the D, the UPP, whoever, the next government knows. What do you feel is next for us to really go forward as a people? Not just what we just talked about, but I mean in terms of business and the structuring of businesses. Because the one thing I realized that a lot of Barbadians don't understand, Barbados is a business. It is not just a country that Magical Fairy has a thing and puts money into it, and it is a business. It has accountants, it has HR, it has workers, it has a CEO, it has a chairman, board, directors, everything. So it's run like a business. It has to make money. It has to do marketing and PR. So all these things is a business. What is next for us, the business Barbados?
So to me, what is our promise? A child who is born here, what do we promise them? As a country, as a society, what is our promise to them? It used to be a set of things. Our big challenge now is to reinvent what is our promise. When our little child is born in ward, whatever it is, that child should be fairly sure that Barbados will deliver
These things.
to those things. Paraguay has a promise to its people. Its brand. It's Paraguay work. And it's a double entendre in that the systems of Paraguay work. Turn on the lights, it works. Go to a government office, it works. But also, the people in Paraguay work. That there's full work for everybody who wants to work. And people understand that because Paraguay is in the center of South America, the agriculture, all that stuff. And it is reinventing itself as the heart of South America. I think that we Barbadians need to sit down with each other, our government, our private sector, our labor, our churches, our all of everybody, and agree what is our national promise to each other. We promise that if you're born here, that you'll be safe, that you'll be taken care of when you get old, that you will have an education that is second to none, that you will have an opportunity to work, not only here, but overseas. So we're going to prepare people for the world of work.
You're good enough for wherever.
You are good enough, and we're going to also, through our embassies and so on, try and find you work outside. The big problem that we had is that we don't have anywhere that we went to. In the 18s and early part of this century, Panama took a lot of our people. So the pressure on the economy was less. The 60s, another 50 years later, they went to Britain and Canada and the UK. For a long time, we haven't had anywhere that we could send our folks. And we have not leveraged, I think, enough the intelligence and the infrastructure we've put down. We should not be telling people to come and work here alone. We should be encouraging them to, as they graduate from UE, if you can find work here, great, but go along. go into the world, work for a couple of years,
and bring
come
back
back,
your
send
knowledge.
back your money.
So.
And we should have a system that allows the
Free
easy movement of that commerce. Jamaica, remittances in Jamaica comprise a large part of their economy. People send home money for mommy and brothers and sisters and so on. We need to not informalize it. We need to formalize it. We need to say this is part. We are going to make a remittance economy one of the planks of our economy. So I think that our brand promise.
I was sort of tell you, great job, Daddy, from Emma and him.
Hi Emma. Hi Haley. Hi Mommy. So those are the things. So what I would say is that we need to put our intellect back to work. For the last couple of years, we've been putting a lot of our intellect towards being beaten down, but we've not engaged our people enough to stimulate them to say, how do we promise? How do we use the crisis that we had originally? Because we are not in the world crisis anymore. Huh? We are in the Beijing crisis. The world has moved on from the world crisis. We ain't got that no more. But we didn't use the world crisis to say, let us reshape what our promise to our folk were. The worst thing I think that we did was to cut the education, cut free tertiary education, because it could have been done differently. You could have had stipulations and said to people, it's got to be a 3-year program. If you go over 3 years, all at you. If you're in a part-time, if you go over that time, all at you. You got to maintain a grade average. If not, and when you finish, you owe the government. You owe the government. You owe X amount paid 5 years after and so on. If you agree those terms, you can go to UE. And the matriculation standards should have been higher. You can't just go into UE with ACX. You can't do that. You have to have a certain level in order to get in. And so people would not have felt that they didn't have a chance if you don't have money. And so that, to me, is the worst part of the signal that you're sending, is that if you have money, you have the right to education. If you don't have money, that will smoke your pipe. If you're poor, who bank lending you money?
Oh, Shelley and I had a conversation. I said, how does a guy comes to a college or school, has a great idea for a business, has no real capital or anything to use as capital, how does he? It was like, well, I'm not sure either.
Because let's face facts a minute though. Across the world, entrepreneurs are funded by family and friends. The truth is that governments and banks are not set up to fund an entrepreneur. What government does is government forms an environment that says that we are going to create an incubator site, we're going to create a lot of different things, but the money comes from mom and dad saying to their son or daughter or son, I believe in you. I'm gonna mortgage your house, or I'm gonna remortgage your house, or I'm gonna take the little savings we had and we're gonna put in you. If you can't sell your idea or your notion to your friends and your family, you can sell it to me.
Heard that, friends and family?
He's looking for some funding. So I always got a little bit, kind of irritated when I ask people who are starting their businesses. So you've spoken to your friends and things? Yeah, but none of them ain't gonna. They say, why you feel like you should do it? They know you better, you know. They know that you're a crackpot. They know you're a crackpot. They know
So
that
if
you
now
got
you
ideas.
invest in you, why should then someone come?
I don't know. No, you. If you then tell me, hey, mom and dad put up $150,000. 7 of my friends pool together, and they're now invested. I just need a little bit. I said, oh, if your friends and your family
Believe in this
who
product,
know you well enough for how many other years and take you seriously with their cash, then I should be listening. But if you can't find one member of your family, nobody that you know to put up the money, well then, sorry, Skipper, we
got a problem.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Banks are not set up to take risk. Banks take calculated risk because banks have shareholders and they got my money in it. I don't want banks looking about the money on anybody's great idea.
Well, I will read this last comment.
It's not nasty.
No, it's not.
Read nasty comments.
In the hierarchy of the government, there are too many square pegs in round holes. For example, I believe that the Ministry of Health should do some form of health-related backgrounds. More, and this should be through all ministries.
I don't agree. I don't think that the Minister of Health has to be a doctor. I don't think that the Minister of anything has to be anything. There are a few technical areas. The Attorney General by law has to be a lawyer. The Minister of Finance should have a very, very good philosophical grounding as to what the economy is about and so on. They should have a fundamental view, because then a poo-poo thing across the world you find countries under stress are turning to technical people to help run the Ministry of Finance, because the minister himself is a very powerful person. He has the power of uttering, and it becomes law. And you find that in places that are under stress and so on, like Greece and so on, they've turned to technocrats to take on that. The truth is that a political minister of finance often has to think about the political dimension and the economic dimension. When your country is under stress, it's very, very difficult for you to make a decision that you know is going to get you voted out. So that is the thing. But otherwise, we've had some brilliant people who have had nothing to do with anything. But they're just brilliant. They can understand quickly. They can understand how does this shape in with the government's policy.
Mm-hmm.
How do I?
They make it work.
Philosophically, if you are tied to a position, then you don't deviate from it because you're not. You're saying that, okay, you are in the ministry of whatever. How does that align with my government's philosophy as it relates to how it treats its people, how it treats its friends, its neighbors, and so on? And if that lines up, then you say, okay, we can move with that. Just give me the information. You need to be able to be engaged, I think.
Uh-oh. And we just got oh, crap. Live TV.
The government.
What happened?
The government. The battery?
Yeah, people they ain't seeing nothing but. We back up, right?
We're back up very shortly. And
Right. Okay. And please still be live. Please still be live. And I got a delay effect, so they might hear me. I don't know, and it's not coming up. Okay, so and we're back. Sorry for that technical. My producer was very quick to solve that problem. But this is live TV. Hey, um, my final question before I wrap this up. All of these downgrades that we've had in the
Mm.
last 10 years, 8 years, eight, I'm trying to be technical, but in the last 8 years, how can we get around that? What can we do to see ourselves out of that from a business point of view?
From a business point of view, then you can do. That's the truth. A downgrade is not a reflection of the business community. It's a reflection of policy and the international financial agencies' vision of if you're able to move your country forward or to maintain a rating. A rating tells you how risky your economy looks. You would notice that Sagicor relocated
Their head.
because they understood that the fundamentals of their business were sound, but they were going to get dragged down
With
by the location that they had put their headquarters in. The truth is that to get back up, is going to take time. And what's going to help is when the people who are responsible utter public statements that make the rating agencies
have faith.
understand that they take these things seriously and there are things in place. Now, like many things that are done, people say things privately but have to make utterances publicly. Because they would give Standard & Poor's a note, say, listen, we had to say, but this is what we're actually doing.
Mm.
So far, it's not seemed that Standard & Poor's believe them, or Moody's, or anybody, because they're keeping moving that down. How are we going to get out of the downgrade spiral? And this is something that people need to understand. Downgrades do matter, even though you're not downgrading us as a human element of our nation. Sovereign funds, some funds and national funds and so on cannot, by their laws, invest in countries that have certain levels of rating. They cannot invest by law, by their laws. They cannot invest in anything less than a B. So no matter how attractive we go and roll out the dog and pony show, they're going to look at you and say, but what's your rating? Your rating is C minus. And I can't put, no matter how much I think you're right, I can't put it. So we're left now with the people who we can bring in, people who are going to look at either private wealth funds, and they're going to look for not a 2% return. They're going to look for 10s and 15s. Their numbers are big. If we convert our debt into a loan, a foreign loan, then that means our local debt now becomes a foreign debt. So those are some of the things we got to be concerned about. So the language we use, what we say, and how we say it is going to be critical.
Like I've seen a lot here of late. Everybody's talking about their credit score as individuals in the United States. You higher the credit score, as we are saying, the better you can get stuff, and you can get loans, you can get mortgages. But if your credit rating is bad, that's an individual. So it's the same principle. People don't. It's the same principle. It's the same.
And it's not making a judgment on you. It's just making a judgment on your ability to manage your affairs. So you can be a great person. We can give a priest a poor credit rating. We don't think he's a bad guy. We just know that he has a poor credit rating. We're in that position. Barbadians are seen as a strong investment, but the people who are going to be making those investments now are going to be the individual wealth people. People have the individual wealth that they don't have to count to nobody for. And that narrows the pool that we have of people that we can go and bring in. If we move our ratings up, we become more attractive to institutional investors and sovereign.
How many years do you see us, if point in the right direction or pushing in the right direction, how long do you see us before we can get out of this?
It's going to take years. It's going to take years, but it doesn't mean that we're going to be in doom and gloom for years. I believe that a few swift things will not only have a world of good, but also invigorate people. I think people are in a miasma. People feel beaten. People feel weighted.
deflated,
Correct.
and
And what has to happen is a few things that people see, things are moving. Even
Mhm.
if it's smoke and mirrors to get people,
even minuscule.
You
People
know,
just need to feel something has
that-
changed and is going in a better light.
but underneath that fluff, there needs to be solid negotiations with our international partners. There needs to be serious, solid negotiations with our trading partners, with our financial services sector, with our tourism people. All of those things have to have very, very serious conversations going on. So while we party here, we got to be working hard here.
Mhm.
So that mixture is where we got to get right. I find at times maybe we too much focus on the smoking. You know, we feel good. The feel good factor, and nobody's feeling good.
Any advice you have for any person as a small business operator right now? Any advice you can give them?
Hold tight. I think that if you can survive now and keep on surviving, if you can survive with the worst of our times, then when the good times come around, you can do better. But I would also urge everybody, remember this time.
Don't forget.
Don't
Don't
go
forget.
back to the ways that we had that got us here, where as business people we took on too many persons, we took on too many expenses that we ought not to have done. We became corpulent on our own success. Keep our businesses lean. Keep inventing and reinventing ourselves, and keep empowering our staff and our people, and investing in new businesses. Diversify. Go and find business outside of BIM too. You know, go out into the world and go brave, because you've survived this long and this far. It means you must have some fundamentals going right. But we need now to go and colonize other places.
Step further. You know what? This has been a mouthful for me and very educational for me, Alex. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for asking. I really
No,
appreciate
seriously,
it.
seriously, thank you for joining me on Tea Time. And I feel, even listening to you and Shelly last week, Peter, I mean, everybody's given their strengths and their input in different ways and different forms. I feel that there's hope for Barbados, for a better tomorrow, beyond it just being the Barbados Labour Party or anything. I feel that we have a brighter future, but if every one of us come together and play a part in that, and not just rely solely on any government, I feel we have a better future.
I agree.
And I'm your host, Greg Williams, and this was Tea Time with Greg. Like and share. There was no real shady tea. We're not about shady tea. So like and share the page. You can comment. Feel free. So once again, thank you for joining me on Tea Time with Greg. This is every Thursday, 6 to 7. Over and out.
Bye, Emma Haley.
Oh, right. Thank you. That's
Bye,
why
Selena.
that's why I have a producer.
Emma
And
Haley, Selena.
Saturday we have Shanta Prince live from Brady's Bar. Woo! And we will be creating some drinks. And I am not going to be drinking any pepper, thanks to Peter Ram. That was just nasty to see. That was nasty. I will never be doing it again. But I drank it because it's my show.
Are you gonna have Emma and Haley on too? And Selena? No? Sorry.
But what are we going to be talking about? I don't have a problem bringing them. What's the topic?
They're gonna want to talk to you about A told B and B told C. I see you at the top of the coconut tree, and they're gonna tell you about national heroes and all of that stuff. So there you go. Just saying.
Right, so stay tuned. So happy hour and happy hour is 7 to 8 from Brady's Bar. Feel free to come on down, and Sharianne and I will be announcing something for the public that will be happening with Tea Time. So, I mean with happy hour, sorry, I'm getting all my TV shows crossed up. So this was Tea Time, but stay tuned for happy hour on Saturday. Thank you, Jamar, and over and out.